You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Happy last Saturday of summer. I'm Dalby from the Brock and Dalby Show, and this is your bonus weekend Brock and Dalby Podcast, where we will get to a ton of your questions and would you rathers. Plus, we got a call on our bad line today, which you can call yourself anytime, 1-833-854-2233. Leave us a message about whatever it is, but we got a very spooky, very extraterrestrial message on the bad line that we will look back on with you. But first, we've got to start with Text Us Tuesday and another Brock song.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Text. 760-555. Text. Woo! 760-555. Woo! That one is for all my clutch kitties this morning. You know who you are.
This man is sucking up to the kitties this morning.
They've been begging for some clutch for a couple weeks now, and I haven't given them the milk, so.
They've been coming around, caterwauling at all hours of the morning.
Someone texted in and said, if you could be like a centaur, but with any animal you want, what would it be? So if you could be half man, half animal, what are you going with?
Which half is human?
It's up to you.
I want to keep my human upper half.
Yeah.
So my lower half... Ooh, rhino would probably... You could probably, like, get some real power behind your legs if you had half rhino.
But then you'd only have the legs, and then you'd have weird arms, so would you be able to move around that well?
If I had human arms but rhino legs?
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'd figure it out.
Would you be able to stand up straight still, or would you be...
I'll tell you right now, put me on the line at a football game. No one's getting to my quarterback.
True.
Try get around these legs.
I think I'd go kangaroo.
Ooh, now, are you going kangaroo bottom?
Yeah, kangaroo bottom.
Does it come up to the do you pouch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm pouching, and then I can keep snacks in there and stuff at all times.
I don't know, man. I think it's like... There's like bodily fluids in the pouch. I don't think you want to keep snacks in there.
Great place to hide your stash.
No one's going in looking, that's for sure.
Officer, you can't reach in there. Someone said, what's something from your childhood you wish would come back? Your youth?
My hair. I was looking at pictures of me back in like grade 8 the other day, and I was one of those kids that like didn't have a hairstyle. It would just grow. Just this big puff of hair, and I'm like... At one point, I was like, I hate my hair. I wish it was gone.
If I close my eyes.
And now here I am, and I'm like, come back.
I'd like to see Chubbies make a comeback.
The little bottle pops?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those were the best when I was a kid. I used to love those things. Mom used to sneak those in my lunch all the time.
We never had Chubbies up in the territories, but we did have a few people who had European relatives, and every now and again, I would say about once every 6 months, our school would be flooded with Iron Brew. Remember those?
Brew, no.
It's like a Scottish soda, I think. It's like IRNBRU, Iron Brew. I'm going to offend somebody who's tried it and loves it, because if you love it, you're in the cult, but it's disgusting.
I've never heard of that
It's
before.
so bad.
If anyone knows where we can get some Iron Brew, let me know.
Everywhere in my school.
Do you think that you could kick a 25-yard field goal?
How many tries do I get? One try, it's hit or miss. Probably more on the miss side. I think if you give me 3 tries, I hit 25.
I think I could get it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like 25 yards?
25 yards isn't a lot.
25 yards is easy, no
listen,
problem.
NFL kickers also miss extra points. All right?
Yeah.
It's just, even pros miss.
I feel like if I do the old elementary school thing, I put the ball in my shoe and kick it from there. I'm putting that through the uprights.
The drop kick move?
Yeah.
See, but that's not a field goal. That's a punt.
No, not the drop kick move.
Oh.
I'm saying, you ever do that when you played football at school? You take your shoe off and you use it as...
that's the tee.
Yeah, that's the tee off. It'll boot that mother right through there.
Well, I think we have to get down to a football field now.
I
want to see this happen.
Any local teams practicing later today? I'll show up and kick a 25-yard field goal.
Just show up, kick the ball, run away.
Now, are we talking turf or are we talking grass here?
Oh, all of a sudden now you got little problems.
Well,
eh?
I realized I just put it out there.
Yeah, you just kind of told
I've only
everybody.
got cleats for grass, is what I'm saying. So
you didn't say anything about cleats. You said you were going to put it in your shoe.
Yeah.
You're kicking this thing with one run barefoot. What are you talking about?
You know what? If there's a football team that is practicing today,
Shoeless Brock Lewis will show up.
let us know where you are. I will come show up, and I will teach the kids how to kick it through the uprights, all right?
Yeah, well, because, I mean, every after needs a before, right? What not to do.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I'm wondering, did anyone see anything in the sky late last night? We got a voicemail here on the bad line from someone claiming to have seen maybe some extraterrestrial activity.
I just saw a UFO over Berks Falls, and it was the opposite way from the hippie fest there. It was crazy to watch. It just went through the sky, like did zigzagging formation, just went straight off in the sky. Craziest thing I've ever seen, and I've been waiting my whole life to see something like that, and just wild.
I don't know. I did some Googling around Berks Falls area. No one else has reported anything online.
Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything, but what I do love more than anything is that this guy saw what he thinks is a UFO. As someone who, in his own call, says he's been waiting his whole life for this moment. And what did he do? Called the bad line. He was like, Brock and Dalby and the people need to know.
We need to know first. I appreciate that. But I will say, if you think you see a UFO, you got to get a video of it, right?
Well, I mean, but people do get videos of UFOs all the time. And what do we say? That's probably nothing.
Yeah, but that's the best way to tell if it is. Because you just, no offense to this guy, I appreciate you for calling. But to everyone that he's going to talk to, you sound a little cuckoo.
Well, you know what? We're always telling people we got to put the phone down, stop living life in the phone, and just take in the moment. And now you're telling the guy to take out his phone.
I just feel like you at least got to have someone there to back you up, because then you just kind of sound like the guy who's like, I got a girlfriend, but she goes to another school kind of mentality, you know?
You know, I've never known you to be the guy to kibosh the conspiracy theory, and now I'm wondering, the government get to you, huh? What are you hiding over there?
I'm just saying.
What really happened at Berks Falls, Brock?
In the year 2024, we've all got smartphones in our pockets. You got to get a good video of this stuff. I mean, every video you've ever seen of Bigfoot is blurry. How come no one's got a good one, you know?
Hey, listen, if you guys want to call in because you saw something extraterrestrial, I want you to know, maybe not both of us, but I'll believe you. I believe in you.
See something, say something, but also take a damn video too, all right?
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast. Would you rather Wednesday? Would you rather Wednesday?
All right, let's get weird. Let's do it. 762-555. You got a would you rather question. You can send it to us now. First one says, would you rather make all spiders smaller with the same amount of dangerousness, or would you rather make all spiders bigger with less dangerousness?
I think if they were bigger and not dangerous, they'd be less scary. Because one, they'd be easier to see because they'd be bigger. And two, what are you worried about? They're just making a bit of a mess in your house.
I guess, but also just imagine like coming downstairs into your basement and they're just like all hanging out, chilling on your couch.
Yeah, how much bigger are we making them?
I don't know.
I guess that's the question. If we're making them like Looney Toony size,
eight-legged freak size.
But then if you make them smaller and more deadly, then you'll probably die.
Yeah, well, at least you don't see it. Sometimes not seeing things is good, you know?
I think if we make all the spiders, what was the movie called again?
Eight-legged freaks.
Eight-legged freak size. But they're harmless. We train them. We learn to ride them. They become livestock. That's the way we go. You're only saying that because right now they're deadly.
They could be good for hunting, actually.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Having an army of spiders lead you into the woods.
Have a guard spider outside your house.
Dave says, would you rather take a trip to the space station or down to the Titanic if there was no risk involved in either? You knew you would get there and get back in one piece.
I mean, I don't get the point of going to go see the Titanic. It's just a ship that crashed. Like, I don't know. At least at the International Space Station, you're looking out on something that only a select amount of people have seen, which obviously only a select amount of people have seen the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean. But I mean, it's just a crashed ship.
Have you seen the pictures that just came out the last few days of that Titan sub that went down and got squished last year?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
They took just pictures of the sub that didn't even make it to the Titanic. Looks creepy as hell. Even if you told me there's no risk involved, I don't want to go down there. I have no interest. It's scary and terrifying, and send me to space 1,000,000 times.
Also, I always find it weird when people are like, I want to go somewhere where people died.
You know what? That is a weird
Right? Like
thought.
people plan trips around stuff like that, and they're like,
Right.
I want to go to this place because a bunch of people died here. And it's like, okay, dude.
I want to go to space and see the planets and the universe and all this stuff, or I want to go to a boat graveyard.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty easy pick.
Plus, I mean, it would be nice to get out of Earth for a bit and be like, whew.
Just wipe your brow. Wow, glad to be out of all that.
Would you rather eat a ravioli with Oreo filling or an Oreo with ravioli filling?
I'll tell you this right now. I found at a No Frills, pierogies with blueberry filling. Dessert pierogies exist, and they have changed my life. So I would take the ravioli with the Oreo filling.
Dessert pasta, you may be onto something there.
I'm telling you, there's a market out there.
Ooh, if you deep fried it or something, too?
Oh, that would be good. But now, on the other side, take the 2 Oreo cookie pieces and then put, what, pasta or meat between them? No, not in a million years.
Yeah, that doesn't work. Unless you could make, like, a garlic bread, like, Oreo cookie,
Okay, now you have my attention.
then that might be the move.
I'd like to hear the rest of your TED Talk.
Would you rather be a ninja or a pirate? I feel like ninja's a lot of work.
I feel like ninjas live better, though.
Yeah?
Pirate, you kind of get to do whatever you want, but also, like, scurvy, sword fighting.
You're just hanging out with the boys, though, drinking all the time on a boat.
I feel like
kinda
that
sick.
I feel like that would get old. Not to mention, when you go drinking with your friends now, maybe there's some like light pranks and stuff like that. Back in the days of piracy, pranks were like, "Hey, let's push him off the boat and see if he makes it back."
Yeah, but you get to wear sick eye patches and stuff like that.
Oh, ninja all day. I would rather have 2 eyes than wear an eye patch.
Teach their own, I guess. Final one here. Would you rather always have something in your teeth or always feel like there's a hair in your mouth?
Oh, I would say I'll do the hair in the mouth. I feel like there's something in my teeth all the time.
Then you're always going to be doing that, like... You're going to be, like, reaching in.
Yeah, but if I feel like there's something between my teeth at all times, I'm constantly going to be, like, picking at it. My gums are going to be bleeding. I'm going to be a mess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people would always be like, there's something in your teeth, and you'd be like, I know.
I am aware.
Yeah.
It's mystical, and I can't get rid of it.
Although that might be better than seeming like you have a hairball at all times.
I upset an old witch, and it's a curse.
You're in
okay?
a job interview, and they're like, tell us about why you'd be good for this.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know when you go to pay on debit, and it'll be like, hey, do you want to add a tip? 15, 20, 25%?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
shows you what it is. Those values are currently based on 15, 20, 25% of your full, in the end, total bill. Quebec is putting forward a bill that would make it so that those would have to be figured out from the pre-tax amount.
You know what's just hitting me now? I've never realized that.
You've been tipping on taxes?
I'd never realized that before.
Yeah, so like what they're saying is right now, say you and Courtney go out for dinner, say the bill comes to an even $100.
Yeah, I get you.
You should be tipping on that $100, 15, 20,
But
whatever
instead,
percent.
we've been tapping on the tax.
You have been tipping based on the after-tax value, which is about $114, which is not nothing. It's not an insignificant amount. And some customers have been getting louder and louder, getting upset about, like, why am I tipping you based on the portion of the bill that the government is taking?
Well, and then the tip also gets taxed too, technically. So then the full tip isn't going to the servers as well. Am I mistaking that?
No. The taxing gets done, and then you tip on top of that. So your tip is still fully going to the server. Then the government takes their piece, but your tip is bigger because you factored in the amount of money that you're giving to the Liberals.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is it's not getting okay.
Yeah. So with this, now we're seeing sort of a split. So I kind of wanted to get people's opinions, 762-555, and get yours. People are saying this will cause servers, bartenders, that sort of thing, to make less money because 15% of 100 is less than 15% of 114. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's fair to not tip on the tax and only tip on the amount of money that you're spending?
I mean, there is a logical explanation for this, but business owners will hate me saying it.
What's that?
Pay the servers more.
Well, so here's the thing. Obviously, Montreal has been doing a ton of stories about this. This is big news out in Quebec. And all of their interviews, obviously, are with servers. How do you feel about this? Most of the servers are saying, I don't know. Obviously, I'll make a little bit less money. I don't know that it'll be enough for me to really notice it. And then all the like bar owners and stuff like that are like, "Oh, my poor staff. They're just so hard done by, and now you're taking money out of their pockets and food out of their mouths." And it's like, you could cover the difference.
Well, and I know it's a double-edged sword of what I said. Like, obviously, if you start paying them more, then like prices will go up in drinks and food and stuff like that. But I mean, I honestly wish that tipping could be, you know, when you get an Uber, and before you get in the Uber, you can select if you're like, I want a quiet ride, or you can talk to me kind of thing, right? You can even tip in advance if you pay in advance, stuff like that. It'd be nice if you could go to a restaurant and be like, I'm going to tip 20% right now because I want some baller service before the meal even. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the old like mafia guy thing. Goes into the restaurant, slides $100 bill, and he's like, "Find us a good spot,
take
like,
care of me," sort of thing. Yeah. I have heard of this, and I haven't seen this in a long time, but I've heard of this from years ago. Maybe I'll get your opinion on this. Is people used to, when we used paper money a lot more often, put a pile of money on the table. Every time that the drink took too long to get refilled, if I had to send something back, all these things, they would take a little bit of money out of the pile. So you're
sending a message throughout the dinner?
Basically, you had a visual representation of like, this pile of money is yours. How much of it you get is up to you. If you were a server, would that be inspiration for you to want to do better? Or would it be like, man, screw you?
A mix of both for sure. You're basically playing like a big game of Deal or No Deal as the dinner goes on.
I also feel like it would cause you to be worse with other tables.
Yeah.
Like, I would see the pile of money on the table, and I would be like, okay, I have to give this table, if it's a decent amount of money, all my attention to make sure that pile doesn't go down. So you're bringing them the bread, you're bringing them the drinks, the food, all that stuff.
Sure.
And your other tables are like, we're still here. That's how I would do it anyway in my head.
Yeah. I mean, in a world where we don't have cash anymore, honestly, I think the best option is just like pay your debit and then tip the cash after. But I mean, I know there's also people that are so over tipping at this point, depending on where you go, right?
Dude, watching someone flex that they tip 20 to 25% on every, like, anytime I go out, I never tip less than 20%. It's like, damn. Must be nice.
We were talking about signs that you know someone's rich.
No kidding. I assume you've won the lottery if you don't even think about the 15% option anymore.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You should send a text to us, 762-555. Ask us a question, anything you want. Send us a text, 762-555. I wanted to keep going, but I couldn't.
That might be my new favorite of all time.
Cotton-eyed text. 762-555.
You ruined it. I loved it so much, and then you named it.
Again, from the FLC guys, wondering if they could get a shout-out, which I've been trying to figure out what FLC stands for a long time.
Yeah, they just keep saying FLC.
I found it out.
Oh.
It's the Friendly Licking Company.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like a stamp thing?
Yeah,
or?
like if you have like a Tootsie Roll or something, you need to get to the middle of it.
They'll get to the center for you?
Yeah.
That seems like I wouldn't want to pay for that business.
Yeah, I don't know if they do well, but great guys by the sounds of it.
Good for them.
Shout out to the FLC crew as always.
Someone texted in saying T-minus 3 days until your coworkers start disappointing you again, Brock.
Oh,
well, they said the Leafs. I'm just putting.
Oh yeah, we're coworkers with the Leafs now. Yeah, preseason starts.
That's right. Are you excited? Are you going to say the words?
Everything matters. Preseason matters. Regular season matters. We've got the milk. We've got the cookies. Stanley Cup coming soon.
What year is this?
Huh?
What year is this?
2024.
Oh, I was trying to get you to say this is our year, just so I could have it on recording when it is in fact not your year.
This might be the year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Said with the utmost in confidence.
Someone said, what do Brock and Dalby fight about?
Not a lot. I'm trying to think.
I mean, we're coworkers, so the odd time we'll get into like little tiffs.
Yeah,
but like any other coworker.
Pretty typical workplace debates, but like outside of the building, outside of the show.
Yeah.
I can't think of the last thing we fought about.
I'm trying to think, which, I mean, I guess that's a good thing.
If the Wings and Leafs ever meet in the playoffs, that'll be it.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the most tense it'll be in the building.
Name 3 players on the Wings.
What's that? No, what'd you say?
I said name 3 players on the Wings.
Dylan Larkin. Larkin, Dylan, and D. Larkin.
It won't be much of a fight. I'm not worried about it. Someone said, is it spooky season yet? No, dude. It's still so nice outside.
It's not fall until Sunday. You cannot just skip ahead to the end of October yet.
Until the weather finally gets, like, actually chilly, it can't be spooky season.
I will say something spooky has started happening in my neighborhood. There is this weird thing where my neighbor has a big tree with a lot of dark leaves, and when they fall off, they all somehow land on my yard and none on his.
I feel the same way. I don't have a single tree on my property.
And I've chalked that up to ghosts, and that has started happening. So maybe it's a little spooky. It's a little bit.
Someone said, did Brock kick the field goal yet? No, we are working on that, though.
Yes, because you opened your mouth, as you do with so many things, saying that you could do something.
I said I could kick a 25-yard field goal, and we're working on getting out on the field with a local football team. So,
how far do you think you go? I mean, you're saying 25's no problem, but how far do you reasonably think you could
I'm not
get?
saying anything further than 25. We start at 25 and we go from there.
I'm just trying to see how deep the hole
I'm not digging the
can be
hole
dug.
deeper. No. Someone said, you're making a mixed drink. How many ice cubes?
None. I take my drinks neat.
You're neat?
Yeah.
I'd say max 2.
Yeah?
Max 2, and you got to do 2 fingers strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I usually go about 50-50 pop to rum, and then I don't put ice in there because I don't want it to get watered down if I start, like, getting distracted.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Final one here. Do you think the rest of the guys in the Foo Fighters knew Dave Grohl was cheating on his wife?
I won't say certainly, but I'd be shocked if at least one of them didn't.
I think, even if they didn't know, their wives had some interesting conversations with them.
Oh, almost certainly.
Right?
Imagine the next time the guys in the Foo Fighters are like, all right, we're heading over to Dave's to do some recording. Oh, sure you are.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, Dave went from, like, that friend that, like, all the wives liked to,
now he's the one that you need, like, hey, you call me every 20 minutes.
yeah. You can't... they're going on the road all the time. They're like, you better be staying at a separate hotel.
I don't want you hanging around with that Grohl kid. He's
Pretty
bad
tough
news.
to be in a band for, like, 30 years, and then all of a sudden some guy ruins everything.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.